Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be going over the get in / fit up for Alice in Wonderland at the Old Rep Theatre. As a part of my job role as a DSM, I was involved in the get in and fit up of both the Alice in Wonderland set and lighting fixtures. During this get in process I developed many of my skills from my first get in, as well as it being my first get in a professional theatre, meaning I was able to learn a lot about how professional theatre goes about such a big get in, and a get in that lasts for almost a week. From getting in the set to getting in the lighting fixtures, as well as focusing the fixtures and getting in the costumes, props and everything else that was required before the cast arrived for tech. We started the get-in process by doing a massive get-in on the first day, getting in the 3 main portals as they required to be flown, as well as getting in the movable cogs as they were being flown as well, and making sure they were able to be moved on stage in and out of the set as required. From this main get-in day, I learned how to attach casters to the set, meaning that I would be able to run them across the railing which was going across the stage, meaning that the cog flats could run across the stage as well. However, we did have a few issues with this, where one of the cogs were running off on its own, meaning that we would have to attach some sort of brake to this so that it wouldn't run across during the production, and so that we got further along with the get-in. Doing the cogs first meant that the main body of the set wouldn't be in the way when it came to doing the cog flats, as these were very large and very long. It also means that when it came to walking them in, we could walk them in slowly, as due to 2 cog flats being on the same bar, so we required a team of people being on both of the flats so that we could walk them in simultaneously, making sure that the bars were taking the weight of the cogs and the flats correctly. This took about half a day to get all of the components out of the van and to get these cogs flats, all 4 of them, up and being able to move as required. This part of the get-in also developed my communication skills, as we needed to communicate with the team of people working on the other cog, as we needed to make sure that they were going up at the exact same time with the same rate, again meaning that we needed to have effective communication between the production teams to make sure that it would happen the way that it needed to, and that they were going up at the same rate and that the other team didn't have an issue. Otherwise it wouldn't have gone up successfully and it would have taken more time to bring it down and restart. During this first day of the get-in, we also aimed to put up the 3 main portals, as well as the set that was going to be flown in and out during the production. This included the keyhole and the pendulum at the back. Putting up the main portals, I developed my skills in teamwork and heavy lifting / manual handling. The teamwork I developed as the set was so big and heavy that it required a load of people to just move one section of it to where it needed to be able to be flown and attached to the corresponding bar. As we were attaching the lower sections to support beams, we were attaching the top sections to the fly bars and then screwing them in the middle. This also meant that I needed to be in constant communication with the production manager, who was leading the get-in and knew where each section needed to be, but also the head carpenter and the lead fly person, and I needed to know exactly what was happening at each point during the day and what was happening to each section, so I knew exactly where each section needed to be and what required to be happening to each section. I also helped attach the fly hooks to the portals, as well as the cords that held these in position. While doing this, I was shown a new way to attach them to make it easier, in which showed me that I developed my skills in a major get-in, and how I developed my role as a DSM, and how my role as a DSM impacts the get-in. One of our main issues with the portals were making sure that they were central, as the floor hadn't been laid down properly yet, so the floor wasn't central, so we needed to keep remeasuring it to make sure that each portal was central, which the first one really wasn't. This meant that the next day the first portal needed to be taken down and made central again. But the second and the third portals were central once we'd taped down a dashed centre line all the way down the stage to prevent this from happening again with the other set pieces or portals. This then meant that we saved time, as we didn't need to redo every portal, we only needed to redo the first portal. The next days of the get-in and the fit-up, due to having a larger production team available to me and the other DSMs, ended up taking more of a leadership role. Making sure that the people were sticking to the risk assessments that were created, but also making sure that they were sticking to the tech schedule and making sure that everything would be completed by the first day of tech. However, due to not having enough people who were trained on flies, I ended up spending a lot more time sending bars down as well as bringing bars up and levelling different hemp bars. This is where I really developed my skills on flying, as well as I helped with a lot of people and a lot of the fly team behind me. We helped bring the bars in and out to what the people on deck required it to be. This also shows how my communication skills once again have improved, as we needed constant communication with what was happening on deck to make sure that it was going accordingly. Unfortunately, due to being required in rehearsals for the rest of the week, I didn't do any full days of the get-in. However, I constantly came back to the theatre every day to help out with whatever needed to be doing at that time, and making sure that I was sticking to the schedule and make sure that they were all sticking to the schedule so that it would be completed by the first day of tech. Overall, this get-in experience really developed my physical skills in a get-in, including learning how to attach different types of clamps to different types of set, as well as learning how a professional theatre works with such a large and long get-in process. I also developed my skills under pressure, as we were time pressured each day, and whenever anything went wrong, we would have to come up with the most time effective way to fix the problem, as well as making sure that all the health and safety things were considered, as well as needing to make sure that everything was completed by the start of tech.